the incline bench press. Is the exercise I would choose if I only were allowed to do one single chest exercise for the rest of my life. But to reap all the benefits, seeing progress, having fun, and without injuring yourself, you need to have the right form.
No smoke with no fire, no silence if there's no sound, one way or another.
Every single good bench set begins with a great base. And the base, when benching, is having a good bench and having a right rack. And what I mean with a good bench is that you have a bench that you can adjust for a couple of degrees. It's quite wide, so you won't fall off one side when you're doing a heavy set. It's stable. It won't wiggle around or fall apart when you're doing a set. And it is not too hard, but not too soft. Soft enough so you can push yourself into it and not hard enough that it's uncomfortable. For a rack, it's important that it's stable because it ensures our safety so it won't fall apart when we're doing a set. But very important is that you can optimize it, that you have a lot of different options, that you can fine tune the settings, meaning that you can higher, lower the rack heights, the pin heights, you can higher, up and down with the safety bars so it'll fit according to you. Because this will make that you can rack in a lot easier, you can rack out. If you fail a rep, you won't die. Safety bars are optional. You can learn how to fail a rep without safety bars. It's not that hard. But if you have safety bars and you got the right adjustments for you, it's a good rack. So let's set up a good bench. But before we even do anything, you need to understand we're going to press ourselves into the bench, which will make the bench move if you don't have any type of resistance. Meaning, if you have a combo rack where it's tightened, you're fine. But if you have a combo rack where you need to adjust the bench yourself and it's freely, you need to put something behind it or block it so it won't move during a set. What I always do is put a weight behind the bench. So you take the biggest weight, you put it in the combo rack, or you just make that the bench can't move, and you try to get it straight in the middle, as straight as possible. Also be aware of not putting it too far back and not too much in front. But you'll figure it out when you're actually laying on the bench and you want to do your first warm-up set. So you can fine tune it later on as well. Then figure out which height is optimal for you. On the safety bars, they shouldn't annoy you during a set. So you shouldn't touch them when you're going really low, and they shouldn't just be in your way when doing a set. You should be able to rack in quite easily. Even when you need to think that you're doing a heavy weight and you maybe are shrugged in a little bit, it's pushing you down, you still need to be able to rack it in easily. And rack out is also important, that if you have it too high, it will be really hard racking out a lot of weight. And if you have too far down, you will just miss it when re-racking it. So let's play around with that. It's better to have a little too far down than too far up, because then it will be hard racking it in and getting it out. So begin low and slowly go up and going up if you need to. Alright, this is the wonder form. First of all, this form will feel weird right at the beginning. It will feel that you need to think of so many different things. It will feel really awkward, but it will help you be stable in the bench. It will help you do more weight, have more fun when you have mastered it. And the weird feeling will pass after a couple of sessions. So just be careful, do it slow, and don't add too much weight too soon. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sit down on the bench at the edge, and we're going to plant our feet. Where we plant our feet now, this is where they will be for the rest of the set. You don't want them too far out, you don't want them too far in. Around just a normal average 90-degree bend on the knee is what I like. And you want to have them quite straight. You can tilt them a little inward or outward, but quite straight is usually what is best. Then you go forward with your body, you sit right at the edge and put your feet up so you're on your toes. Then you lay down on the bench, you press with your head so your shoulder blades are free, and you pin them back as much as you possibly can. And we will try to have them as pinned as possible. This will make that we are more stable on the bench, it will reduce the risk of injuring your shoulder, and it's giving us a little bit less range of motion. So pinning your shoulder blades back is crucial, incredibly important. Then we look on the bar and we grip the bar. A lot of people have different preferences, what they like, wide, close, but I'm training chest, so I usually have a quite wide grip, either the pinky or the pointer finger on the ring. And then I push myself, when you have gripped the bar, I push myself with the legs into the bench. I even lift my butt quite often, and I really push myself, like move a little around, so I just push myself into the bench. You should feel resistance if you have a good bench. Then you put down your butt, and you tighten your legs, you tighten your core, you take a deep breath, and then you rack out. A couple of tips I have here is breathe in when the weight is up and you're holding it. So before you do a rep, don't breathe in when you're during a rep. Don't breathe in when you're going down. You will need that core, you will need that stabilization when doing a rep. You are allowed to breathe out when you're pushing the rep up. You need that extra push up. That's all right. That's if you have a really heavy set, you're struggling, breathe out slowly. Has helped me a lot get a lot of reps done. Also, very unusual for a lot of people is that you always keep tension in the legs. When I'm doing a set, the second I rack out, I will drive myself into the bench, and I won't let go of this tension. This will make me so much more stable when benching. It is incredible. And it feels very hard and fatiguing and a waste of my energy at first. But now that I've done it for a good amount of time, for a couple of years now, when I don't have the tension, I feel so weak. I feel so strong, I can't do it another way. So only when you've mastered it and you don't use leg drive, you feel how much it actually changes the dynamic when benching. Also, when pushing, don't lift your butt up. If you have trouble with the feet and with your legs driving you into the bench, you could think that you want to touch with your butt as little as possible, because it will automatically activate those legs. But don't lift your butt off, not even a millimeter off the bench. Your butt should be. It should always be touching the bench. And really important as well is don't do the so-called suicide grip. Always have your thumb around the bar. Always have the thumb around the bar and lay the bar in on your bone. Not up in your wrist where your calluses are, where your fingers begin. As far down as you possibly can on your wrist bone. This will make it you will need to twist your wrist a little bit, and you won't be able to give like a totally round grip, but it will put so much less stress on your wrist and give you so much more stability. At the beginning, it will feel quite uncomfortable having it on your bone, but after a while, you slowly overload the bar, you get more and more weight, your wrist will get used to it, and you will never ever have any type of wrist problems anymore. That is the whole bench form. And if you just take your time, you practice enough, you slowly add weight, and then you take it seriously, you will see progress. And it will change your freaking bench form and chest forever, like it did with mine. If you want to see my full chest day, first link in the description. If you have any questions, let me down in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.